Good day, this is a.j.farzad with successwithloa.blogspot.com, and you can see most of my posts and videos on my Facebook page. Good day, this is a.j.farzad with successwithloa.blogspot.com, and I'm making this video entitled Immunity Boost for Your Mind. So when I travel, I use my oils to make immunity boost. My wife made this immunity boost with me with thieves, purification, and lemon. And I rub it, on my skin, and it helps me protect myself from getting sick with traveling on the planes. I diffuse them in my hotel room, and it helps me from getting sick. But in our business, how do we get an immunity boost for our thoughts that will hamper our success? So that's the subject of this video. The way things work with the law of attraction is that when you think about something and there's a feeling attached to it, according to Abraham Hicks, it takes about 17 seconds for another similar thought to latch onto it. So you can see if things are not going well, you are disappointed, something happens with a customer, you can see how quickly you can get into that negative loop, and whatever we put our feelings and attention to will be manifested in our reality. So if I'm feeling really, really disappointed, I will attract more incidences to have the opportunity to be disappointed. So how do I get something like an immunity boost to change my thought process? So let me give you a perfect example of how this happened yesterday. I was in a process of attracting something that completely went the other way. I was extremely disappointed. I was extremely upset. I felt it was not fair, etc., etc. So it was a very difficult situation, and I know this stuff and I teach this stuff, and I just could not get myself to get back into the balance that I needed, because I knew if I keep on going with this thought process, just more and more would come. But it's not an intellectual thing, it's a feeling thing. In my mind I would say, okay, you know what, I need to get out of this. This is just not going to work. I don't want this to perpetuate into something else. But in the feeling, in my gut feeling, I felt like, you know what, this sucks. This is not fair. Why didn't it happen? I did everything right. How could I have made, such a, clumsy mistake, etc., etc. So I went to the basics. One of the immunity tools that we use for our mind is meditation. Now that's something that is easy for me because I am Buddhist, so I chant in the morning and I chant at night, and that chanting helps me meditate. So I set my timer, 15 minutes, got back to my hotel, sat down and chanted for about 15 minutes. Even throughout my chanting, I could not clear, my negative thoughts. But at the end of my chanting, I felt just a little bit more calm. And the situation happened to be that I had to meet one of my cousins that is visiting here from France to give him some stuff to take to my uncle back in France. And he texted me that he's going to be late. So I said, you know what, with traffic here in Orange County, let me go ahead and drive up there. When I get there, maybe I'll grab something to eat and I'll wait for him. I got there really quickly. And as I was sitting in my car trying to think of what's going on, And you know when you are sitting in a quiet place is when the universe talks to you. So I got this idea that, hey, I got my phone here, why don't I listen to some Abraham Hicks? So I got the YouTube out and I put Abraham Hicks dealing with disappointments. As I'm hearing these things and I'm listening to these things, something amazing happened. I instantly got a thought that I have been working with my oldest daughter for 2 years on being positive. Her go-to is always negativity. And I've been working so hard with her to try to reach for something positive. And yesterday, when I had this disappointment, we were having lunch, and she told me, Baba, don't worry about it. Everything happens for a reason and something better is coming to you. Now, that hit me from the blind side. You know, I expected that from my younger daughter, who was comforting me as well, but coming from oldest daughter, and I looked at her thinking that, you know what, she's just trying to, BS me to make me feel better, but the way she said it, the look in her eyes was the fact that, you know what, after all these years of talking about the law of attraction in the house and practicing it, you know what, it took this massive disappointment in my life to bring her into a place where she reached for positivity to make me feel better. Now, to me, that was the best thing that could have happened to me yesterday. Monetarily speaking, yes, what I wanted to manifest would have been better. But at this point in my life, I need to work on my relationship with my older daughter. And if you have been following my blog, you know that I stopped actually writing the blog. I don't do any seminars or anything because I wanted to concentrate on my relationship with my daughter, and this is what happened. So what does this mean to you? Why am I sharing all of this with you? I'm sharing this with you because when you are faced with a negative situation with a customer in business, perhaps you're going for a promotion and you didn't get it, perhaps you're doing a project and you just goof up, you just completely blow it. All of those things happen. It's life. It's part of the process of learning. But we are our own worst critic most of the time. Most people are harder on themselves than they are in a similar situation with colleagues, with downlines, with even other people's kids, etc. And we have the tendency to go to that negativity. We have a tendency to blame. We have a tendency to say, how unfair this is, or why did this happen to me, etc., etc. What I want you to remember from this video is that whenever you're hitting that negative thing, as soon as you feel that negative emotion, you need to take a time out. Go and just breathe. If you don't know or you don't want to meditate, just breathe. But sit in a quiet place and breathe in and out slowly for 15 minutes. If it is hard, and at that time everything will come, like the paychecks and the stuff that you had to do, 20 years ago will suddenly come into your mind and you want to go, oh, whoops, you know what, I forgot to do that 30 years ago. And everything will come into your mind. So one of the easiest things to do in meditation is to count your breath and visualize the breath going in and coming out. You want to take 3 deep breaths out to start it, and then you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your nose as well. Deep breaths. Take a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and out 2, 3, 4. And do this. Set a little timer. Do this for about 10 to 15 minutes in a nice quiet place where you won't be interrupted, if at all possible. Sit in your car and do it. And that will bring you at least to a place of baseline. And then try to go to resources that give you positivity. Listen to my video blogs. Go on YouTube and, I don't know, put in the search box positivity. Listen to Abraham Hicks. You want to just concentrate on bringing more and more positive things into your mind, because eventually it'll start latching on to better and better and better things, and your feeling will change. And it actually changes pretty quickly if you actually do this. It takes a little bit of effort, but the results are so amazing, because when you suddenly make that realization or make that little step of, let's say, for example, I am pissed off that I did not get this, to perhaps hope, to perhaps positive expectation, two very small incremental steps, then you are in a place to be able to attract opportunities that will help you get more success, as opposed to continuing to wallow in your own sorrows, which will attract more opportunities for you not to succeed, which in our business could be, dissatisfied customers, more mistakes on the job, etc., etc. So I hope this helps. So remember, meditation and positive reinforcement and positive mantras are your immunity boost for your mind. So start now. If everything is going well, this is actually perfect. Start now to build maybe a favorite list of things you can listen to. If you can go ahead and put some affirmations in your own voice and record them on your phone that you can listen to. I call these situation reversers. I made a blog of it a while back. And, I use the pictures of my children being born, the little cute pictures here and there that I have of them. And those are things that will actually change my feeling. And you need to do that. You need to do that as soon as you feel that gut-wrenching feeling that, something's wrong. I don't want this situation to happen, it's not fair, etc., etc. Because remember, 100% personal responsibility. I cannot control anything else that's happening outside of me. So if my happiness depends on somebody getting me a job, I may be disappointed. But I can control how I feel about, for example, not getting a job. And in this situation that I gave you, it was a perfect example. I don't care. At this point in my life, it is the best thing for me that my daughter reached for something positive in a situation where I may not have, got the job. That was the best thing for that situation that could have happened, and better things are coming. I hope this helps. I hope this makes sense to you, and as always, to your success.